And there we go. It freezes every week, and it never freezes when I do a dry run on it. Such is life. I don't care. I finished work yesterday. I'm off work for the next however many days it is. Basically back. I'll be back in the saddle on January the 2nd. And in the meantime, I'm just going to eat, drink, and be merry starting now. Cheers, everyone. Happy Christmas. In case anyone is curious, some people usually are, this evening's diet of verbal diarrhea will be brought to you by Madry. Just because they had a deal on in Morrison's. Basically, there was 2 cases for, I think, 21 quid, something like that. So I thought, don't mind if I do. Anyway, yes, the last Friday live stream of 2023. Here we are. Us happy band of brothers and sisters. Just to kind of remind you what's going on over Christmas, the next video you'll be seeing is the Christmas Day live stream. I'm going to be 1 p.m. UK time. That's nailed on now. 1 p.m. UK time on Christmas Day. I'm going to be sitting here for an hour or thereabouts, drinking beer and basically doing what I'm doing now, talking nonsense, but a special Christmas Day episode. I have no idea what I'm going to talk about. Probably, what I got for Christmas. Us middle-aged blokes, as I suspect we all are, can compare, how many pairs of pants and socks we got, and, and so on and so forth. But then, I'm no videos over the Christmas kind of week, from the 25th on. I am back in the saddle on the Monday, the 1st of January. All that stuff is already uploaded. Most of it was recorded before this happens. I've got a little bit of an update on that that I'll kind of share with you tonight. It's good news, basically. So I'll keep you posted. So normal service resumed Monday, 1st of January, where we have the usual run of things in, the Monday to Friday or Monday to Thursday videos. Before we get into any of that, let's have a little bit of a look and see who's in the chat and what's been going on. I'm impressed to see 171 people in tonight. I thought the numbers would be a bit down tonight, being the last Friday before Christmas. I thought there'd be like, kind of social events going on and stuff, but apparently not. I see there's a good turnout. Anyway, we've got Peter Collins, Rent to Kill. Peter Collins first in. Rent to Kill pipped at the post yet again. Then we've got Steve Hale, Johnny Random, Terry Day, Rob Bald, Peter Nicholson, Dr. Gomez 1, Robster Boy. How are you, Robert? Sean House is in there, so is Cylon Hybrid, and we got Sometimes Dim Never Thin. Dogfather 61 wishing us all. Let's put you up on screen there, mate. It's just easier to read a lengthy message if it's in bigger type, because I'm getting old and my eyesight isn't what it was. John, wishing you and yours a Merry Christmas. Having only had tuition off you for a couple of months, I'd like to say my playing has progressed greatly, but I can't. Lol. Well, yes, keep your sense of humour about you. Mate, very nice of you, though, mate. Then there's Ian Clark, PFY Guitars, Johnny H, Amadeus is in, so is Chip Young, Peter Borthwick, David James, Vincent Brennan, Ben Allmark, Steve Sproson, Michael Purcell, Jimmy James, Paul Trainer, Mr. Chris 5254. Who else have we got? We've got 60s Man, Frank Bolam, Joe McMurray, and Dave Fiendish. What are you saying there, Dave Fiendish? Forgive the lateness. Seasonal mayhem is now becoming rather tedious. Ho, ho, off. Let's have a cold one. Cheers, me dears. Indeed, that's what it's all about here. And then we've got Edwin Toonan all the way from Amsterdam. There's Stratboy 999, Richard Lewis, Chris Otterwell, and David Evans. Scrolling down, I can see that we got Brian Brazil and Nancy Davis is in. We've also got Bill Mumbo and Rexamatic. Phil is there. So's Calby and the Rocco Cat. John Channing, Thomas Mulvaney, Robert Galbraith, Fiend Tunes, and Stevie Mack is in. So is Blue Sofa Songs. Yes, you sent me a link this week, didn't you, mate? when you get a spare moment over Christmas, just have a search for Blue Sofa Songs on YouTube, and just go and check out his channel. It's all about the songs that he writes, I think, on a blue sofa. But yeah. And very entertaining Christmas song that he sent me this week as well. There's Adam San. We got John Jones, Eric Luttinger, and John Mack. And we got James Falconer. Far John is in. So is Colin Falcon. And Nancy Davis is saying, all John wants for Christmas is the cast off. Yeah, that's not going to happen, I'm afraid. It's not actually in a cast. It's just a splint. You know, there's no plaster of Paris involved, but I could do with being able to play again. I'm missing it terribly. Then we've got the Lamb. Good evening, chaps, he says, and how are you? Yourself, mate. Then there's William Forrest, Peter Shields, Mark Greening, Ian Stewart, James Hunt, Dudley Squat, GRB Aquatic, Steve Cassidy Guitar. How are you, mate? There's Creative Storm is in as well, and Deco Dude. And who else? Let's have a scroll down. Reeled in 58. And Watches and Guitars. Have I said that already? If I just have. What's that? Strumming Ronin is in. Chris Otterwell, Clive Burrows is there, so is Martin Bix and Pete Long. Nice to see you, Pete. Happy Christmas to you as well, mate. We got Guitar Bass Dude and Michael Purcell. I think I might have already said you, mate. Maria Davies is in, and let's scroll down. We've got Graham Campbell and Ravi is there, and yes, Phil H, it is Black Eye Friday. That's the tradition over here, isn't it? Last Friday before Christmas. Things tend to get a bit messy, or they can do. Ian Clark saying this is a social event. The social event of the calendar, no doubt. Yes, indeed. Yes, Playground of the Rich and Famous, this live stream, I'll tell you. Then who else we got? We got Johnny Love, and Geronimo is in. We got Moto Takahi in as well, and Ravensmead, and who else we got? I think that pretty much rounds off the roll call. So thank you once again. 195 at current count for turning up to watch for the last time this year. Well, not quite the last time this year. The last time on a Friday this year that you're going to be seeing a fat bald bloke with his arm in a sling talking nonsense and drinking beer. But you know, we shall endeavour to continue in the same manner in 2024. It's a winning formula. Why change it? So anyway, cheers everyone. I need a drink after that. Graham Campbell saying this counts as my self-employed Christmas do. Yes. Just don't get drunk and, you know, photocopy your backside, which seems to be a thing that people do at Christmas parties, isn't it? And, you know, watch out you don't get seduced in the stationery cupboard neither. Johnny Random's got a terrible joke. Let's have a look. Okay, here's a terrible joke. Did you hear about the dyslexic Satan worshipper? He sold his soul to Santa. The old ones are the best, mate. The old ones are the best. Yes, I heard a few good jokes this week, but unfortunately they are not YouTube friendly. So we shall just have to wait for the next Red Carmageddon event, and I'll share them with the brave souls who venture this far north. Edwin Toonan, you are generous, sir. I'm not even drinking Heineken this evening. Thank you so much. And I think I'll let a little bit of a cat out of a bag. You know, there are a couple of people in the chat tonight, Mr. Toonan being one of them, and Steve Cassidy being another one. Oh, thank you, Lamb. Thank you so much. Has the new tough man look made a difference with the ladies of Redcar? I imagine you beat them off with a telly neck. Thank you, mate. Yeah, well, who could resist this anyway, you know? My missus is, she's just rewatching this, what's that show? Vampire Diaries. You know, she's into all that kind of Dungeons and Dragons cobblers. I'm not, but she likes it, so fair enough, and she's watching it. And the main character in that, I mean, even I can tell he's a good-looking lad. he's a proper good looking lad, you know, but his acting talents, you know, it's like he can do bored and contemptuous, sometimes both together, whilst knocking back a glass of scotch. And so the other day, like, I had a glass of whiskey in my hand. I said, "Hey, I'm just like that bloke off the Vampire Show you watch, aren't you?" And bless her, she said, "You are, my love, you are." So there you go. Yes, where was I? Yes, there's a couple of chaps in the chat tonight. Steve Cassidy and Edwin Toonan, who are going to have rather prominent roles in upcoming videos on the channel in January. You know, mainly, well, Steve Cassidy is going to be my guitar understudy for that particular video, and he's very generously agreed to kind of do the playing bit of the video for me, because this is going to be on until at least the second week of January. The operation was 4th of December, and this has to stay on 6 to 8 weeks, and I'm trying for the 6 weeks end of that after the date of the surgery. So that takes us to about the middle of January. You know, it's on the mend, but it's a slow process. Basically, there was a wire going down right down the end of my finger to stop me, because basically that to sort of basically reconstruct the end of like this finger, but on this hand, obviously. And when your hand's in a natural relaxed position, it's kind of like that. So there was a wire in there kind of stopping me from doing that, because that would have, you know, kind of pulled apart the repair that they did. But there's still a screw going in here. Let me show you, actually. Those of a nervous or queasy disposition, look away now. But if you can see there we go. I've got to wait until that comes out before I can play guitar again. You know, it's driving me nuts. I am getting more movement in the finger, and you know, it's getting there basically. But until that kind of final thing is out, that's going to be you know, severely impairing my guitar playing abilities, and you know, we shall just have to see. I'm under no illusions that there is going to be a relearning process, and you know, there'll be some videos in that, I should imagine. Jimmy James, John is the bionic guitarist. Lamb saying that's put me right off me chocolate buttons. You know, just play your air guitar, John. Yeah, I could do that, couldn't I? I did actually ages ago have some daft idea about like maybe doing a when I found out that there is, and there has been for quite some time, like a world, or either national or world air guitar championships. I did think there's got to be a video in that idea somewhere, but I've never been able to you know, to kind of quite put together some sort of idea to do that video. But you know, watch this space. James Hunt is saying that looks painful. Do you know what, mate? It isn't. It isn't. I'm absolutely well, I have been maxed out on painkillers for a while, but not because of this. I don't know whether it's because of some subtle readjustment of my posture from having my arm up here like this all the time, but kind of a bit of I was going to say lumbago then, but it's not. It's sciatica that I had about 10 years ago has flared up again. So I've been munching on the Nurofen, well, not Nurofen, mainly it's the codeine and paracetamol since then. I haven't been exceeding the maximum dose, don't worry. I'm a big lad, I can read the instructions. And nowhere on the pack does it say avoid alcohol. So that's always a bonus, isn't it? But yeah, I've got this fantastic thing. Picked it up in town yesterday. About a hot water bottle that's about a yard long. It's about kind of that wide from here to here, about that wide, but it's about a yard long. and I've just been kind of sat in my armchair downstairs with that kind of snuggled up against my leg, and it's worked wonders. So yes. Anyway, shall we move back on you know what I always say on the videos, you know, and we talk, come and join us on the live stream every Friday, 5 p.m. UK time, where we talk about guitars and music and many other things. Well, this comes under the many other things, doesn't it, really? Paul Trainer, thank you very much, mate. That one sneaked by me. I wasn't paying attention, you know, when I was blethering on about the screw in my finger, probably. Thank you, sir. You're a gentleman. GRB Aquatics. What you got to say there, mate? That looks like a joke to me. A pirate walks into a bar with big ship's wheel down his pants. The bartender says, "Excuse me, sir, do you know you have a big ship's wheel down your pants?" And the pirate replies, "It's driving me nuts." Oh, God. Congratulations, mate. That's the worst one I've heard all. I can beat it, right? 2 bits of string walk into a pub, and as they do, you know, and the barman looks at them and says, "Are you 2 bits of, are you bits of string, you two?" And they said, "Yeah." He says, "Well, you can get out. I don't serve string in here." So, okay. So when they're outside, one of them says, "Leave it to me." And he starts kind of pulling lumps out of himself and making himself look all scruffy and tatty and everything. He goes back into the pub and the barman says, "You're a bit of string, aren't you?" And he says, "No, I'm afraid not." There you go. Lamb saying, opinion on new Kemper player pedal, £500. It's got me intrigued. Yeah, I saw a review of that this afternoon. I get the feeling that it's going to be a lifesaver for many guitar players, but I don't know. It's like, I did think about the Tone X, which is a similar kind of thing, although that doesn't have the effects. And the Tone X does do captures, which the Kemper player pedal doesn't. You know, it's just, would I use something like that? Would that be something for me? You know, it's like I've got, you know me, chaps. How many videos have you seen of me where I'm playing through one channel on the Blue Guitar Amp 1, the vintage channel, because it's an old school Marshall kind of sound. I clean it up with the guitar's volume control, and I chuck the new Ex-Horseman pedal onto it when I want a bit more drive, and that's everything for me. That's all I need. So, you know, there is that element of curiosity, but it's just, if it was half the price, I might be tempted. If it was half the price, I might be tempted to wait until it had come down a bit more on the used market and check one out. But at the moment, it's not something I'm going to be kind of salivating over. I see we've got David Sotheby in there. Thank you for turning up, mate. How are you? Blue Sofa Songs has got another joke. A gorilla walks into a bar. Bartender says, excuse me, Stern, but we don't get many gorillas in here. Gorilla replies, "I'm not surprised at the prices you charge." Yes, okay, again, the old ones. Have you lot been opening the Christmas crackers already and raiding the jokes? On Road Again is saying, who are some of your favourite jazz guitarists? Well, the first name that springs to mind is Kenny Burrell. And then who else would I say? Probably well, you can't really talk about jazz guitarists without mentioning Django Reinhardt and Charlie Christian, can you? You know, and who else? There is a guy, and his name's on the tip of my tongue, and I can't. You know when you know the name, and it'll come to me. George Benson, yeah, that would be one. Randy Upchurch is saying, "I remember your Vox pedal. I liked it. Yeah, it was a great little pedal, the Tone Lab, and great sounds, nice little built-in interface and everything. I used to, the last kind of, I had that years, when I finally wrapped in gigging in about 2013, that's all I was using, straight into the front of house, and with a little bit in the monitors. That was it. And, always got complimented on my sounds. It's before that I used a PV Bandit for gigging, and then I just thought, well, because I had the Bandit and I was only kind of using it for live stuff, and then I had the Vox that I was using in here, and I just thought, well, why not just take the Vox to the gig and put it out through the PA? And it was a great setup. Tal Farlow, that's the name I was trying to think of there, Adrian Laws. Steve Cassidy, Jim Mullen. Yes, I remember Jim Mullen. He was the used to play a Telecaster, didn't he? Which is unusual for a jazz guitar player. I certainly seem to remember seeing interviews with him in some guitar magazine back in the late 80s, where he was cradling a Telecaster in the pictures. There we go. Now, I don't know why it is, but this Madry is usually a very lively pour. And I was expecting a really flaky looking pour there, but it turned out all right. Dave Evans is saying, did I see your earlier message, mate? No, I must have been blethering. As I keep saying, I'm not Rick Beato. I don't have an army of Santa's helpers to kind of to keep track of the chat. So if I do miss any comments, then I do apologise. Let's just have a scroll up and see what David Evans was saying. Here we go. We'll have to arrange to do that Seed interview. Seed is David's band, by the way, him and his brother, sometime next year. Been a tough year for us with loss of Dad. Apparently, we're just short of 9K monthly listeners on Spotify now. Well, that's more than me, mate. That's more than me, so well done. Yes, nice one. Congratulations. Dr. Gomez is saying Tony Iommi is very good jazz guitarist. I have heard that said, but apart from things like Planet Caravan, I can't honestly say that I personally have heard him play anything that you could call jazz. But I have heard people, let's say, who are more aficionados of Black Sabbath and Iommi. Kind of say that. For me, Black Sabbath are one of those bands where I think I've got a greatest hits somewhere, and it's got all Heaven and Hell, Paranoid, Fairies Wear Boots, War Pigs, all the kind of usual kind of suspects. But I don't think I've ever really kind of investigated them, any further than that. So I shall have to check that out. Martin Taylor, yes. Now that is one of my favourite albums. The first Spirit of Django album that he did. The one where he did that cover of Robert Palmer's Johnny and Mary that was used in that car advert back in the 90s, wasn't it? The Nicole and Papa advert. That's that is a great album. And I love listening to that. Unfortunately, it's an album that I have to listen to either on headphones or when the wife isn't in the house, because it just becomes, are you listening to that twiddly shit again? Yes, dear. Sorry, bless her. Thomas Mulvaney is saying, no disrespect to the old Vox pedal, but your guitar tone has moved up several notches since the blue guitar amp arrived. Well, I can't disagree with that, mate. That blue guitar amp that I bought from Mr. Toonan it's the best guitar tone I've ever had, which is kind of explains why, I'm a little bit nonchalant about checking out the latest. Oh, check out this new pedal from Kemper, or this new Tornex pedal, or the other one that's been kind of hogging the headlines a little bit lately is that Boss IR2 pedal. It's like, I'm sure it is great, but I've already got a sound that I'm really, really happy with it. So it's like, I mean, if some retailer or some company was wanting to send stuff like that to me to do reviews on, then, as you know, I mean, I have this relationship with Bax Music who send me Faisley guitars, and occasionally Glary will pop up and say, yeah, we've got a guitar would like you to review. That hasn't happened for a couple of years, but it has happened. I'll happily do that. The only thing I'll stipulate is, well, one, I don't charge to do the videos because I'm not making any kind of judgments about YouTubers who I know do charge to do review videos. I just wouldn't feel comfortable charging for a review if I'm going to make any claim to be impartial. So I'll happily do reviews of stuff that's sent to me on the understanding that if it absolutely sucks, I'm going to say it absolutely sucks. Poo Ninja saying, I almost got myself an IR2 for Christmas, but my Katana does most of that. What you're saying there, Jimmy James? I bought a Quilter Super Block UK, and it's got a great Marshall tone, tiny amp, 20 watts with DI and speaker out. That's not a brand I've ever heard of, mate. Oh, Craig, talk about name dropping, mate. Since I got my blue guitar amp, I haven't touched my Mesa Boogie. It's that good. What Boogie have you got, Craig? What is it? I imagine, given your penchant for the heavier stuff, I'm imagining it's probably going to be a rectifier or something of that ilk. It's I go back about 30 years when I first started doing this for a living, not drinking beer and talking rubbish. When I my fledgling career as a lab technician came to an abrupt end with a redundancy notice, and I put an ad in the paper for doing guitar lessons. That I started on this thing called the Enterprise Allowance Scheme, where the government basically kind of gave you your kind of dole money for 6 months as a buffer zone to get your business off the ground. And and there were various grants available. I was tried so hard to wangle a grant to get myself a Mesa Boogie Mark IV, which was the kind of the new amp on the scene at the time, and didn't work out. But there you go. I see what new comments. Let's have a look. Rent to Kill has to shoot off. Got to go. Wish you all and John a Merry Christmas. Hopefully I'll be first in on Christmas Day. Bye all. Have a good Christmas, mate. Thanks for turning up, and just eat, drink, and be merry. It is the one time a year when you can do that. So, main thing I love about Christmas Day. You can have a pint of beer in your hand at 9:30 on a morning, and no one judges you. The other 364 days a year, you have to kind of wait half an hour, don't you? David Evans is saying, John, talking about guitars is not talking rubbish, mate. Well, it depends. Oh, there's Rent to Kill off. It depends what you're saying about them, doesn't it? Just looking at these figures now, 233 of you sat here listening to me prattling on half an hour in, and I don't consider myself to be, some wise sage, like Phil McKnight, who's got vast amounts of knowledge, the Know Your Gear kind of podcast that he does, like he's got just so much knowledge about gear and stuff like that. I just don't have that level of kind of encyclopedic knowledge of having, because he used to own a guitar shop, didn't he? And so he had all this experience of playing through all kinds of different stuff and all kinds of different guitars that came through his hands. I don't have anywhere near that amount of knowledge, but yet you still turn up and listen to me talk about all this stuff, which is incredibly humbling and gratifying. Ravensmead is saying, time to learn some slide, John. Well, even that would be a challenge with this on, wouldn't it? But it is a while since I've done any slide. Tell you what I'll do, actually, here. I've got a folder on this PC over here where I can give you some... I've got like solo ideas here where I've just cropped the solos out of the songs just to kind of be able to tab them out and stuff. Just give us a shout in the... Oh, thank you, Steve Cassidy. That's very, very generous of you. That's a very kind compliment coming from a fellow guitar teacher. Thank you so much, mate. I've got a list up here of some of the solos that are going to be featuring on the channel once this is history. And I'll read them off to you now because I can't think of anything else to talk about. And think of this as an exclusive preview. Okay, so I've got 11 solos here that I'm going to do in the new year. We've got 2 Tickets to Paradise, Eddie Money. We've got the Todd Rundgren solo from Meatloaf's Bat Out of Hell. We've got Caught Up in You, 38 Special. We've got Don't Look Back by Boston. We've got Go Your Own Way, Lindsey Buckingham from Go Your Own Way, Fleetwood Mac. The live version of Jailbreak has a guitar solo that the studio version doesn't have, so we're going to have a look at that. Left Turn on a Red Light by Blackfoot. Then a song which doesn't have a guitar solo, but I play one to it. It has a keyboard solo. Basically, remember Boz Scaggs' Lido Shuffle? There's a keyboard solo in that, but the band I was in years ago, we didn't have a keyboard player, so I had to adapt the solo on guitar. So we're going to be looking at that. Then do you remember in the late 90s, I think it was 99 or 2000, when Blondie made a bit of a comeback? They had that big hit, Maria, and I thought, oh, yay, they're back. Great song, everything, fantastic. And then they just weren't. That was it. Well, there was a guitar solo on that song, so we're going to be looking at that. Then a bit of Dickie Betts for you, Rock Bottom by the Dickie Betts Band. And then finally, we're going to have a look at the solo from Alice Cooper's School's Out. Those are the solos that are going to be coming up in the new year. Steve Cassidy guitars going, Go Your Own Way will be useful. I've been busking that one live for a few months now. Yeah, Steve, more videos of your band, please. That was when you did your live rig video a few months back now, wasn't it? I mean, it was interesting seeing your setup and everything, and how you can, kind of travel to a gig on the bus with your whole rig in a guitar case, in a guitar gig bag, basically. Be nice to see some more stuff on your actual, like gigs, basically. Maybe a gig diary or something. That would be great. Joe McMurray's saying, I'd love to hear some Walter Trout solos. That'd be an idea, wouldn't it? That would be an idea. How many of you in the chat tonight remember back in about 2008, there was a Guitarist magazine competition where you could, where you downloaded an MP3 from the Guitarist magazine website, and it was a Walter Trout song, and you contribute your own guitar solo, email them the MP3, and the winning entry won, I think it was a VJ guitar. I've already done some Zal Clemenson, Peter Goddard, yes. Sensational Alex Harvey Band. Can't remember what the song was now, but I did one a few months back. Ravensby, turn your hand into a glove puppet to drive Dougal mad. I entered that competition back in, as I say, about 2008. I didn't win, but it's because, like, people like me don't win things. Blondie is still touring with Glenn Matlock on bass. I didn't know that, says Bill Mumbo. Jerry W is saying, what is John sucking on? It's me vape. At the moment, I have, what flavour have I got in at the moment? Can't read it. Cafe tobacco at the moment, which is like sort of, as the name suggests, it's black coffee and tobacco. Let's have a look. What else? We've got a lot of activity in the chat tonight. Let's just have a quick look. GRB Aquatics. Could you please do a solo analysis of the mid-song soloing Paul Young's Every Time You Go Away? Very nice acoustic solo. Thank you so much. Do you know what? I'd completely forgotten that song had a guitar solo, but let me just write that down. Every time you go away. And 1 million bonus points to everyone who knew that that was actually a cover version. It's actually a Hall & Oates song. So there you go. That is another top 5 video that I've got coming up. I'm in the just compiling the list at the moment. I mentioned that Jailbreak there, the studio version, doesn't have a guitar solo. So I'm going to do a top 5 on classic rock songs, iconic rock songs that don't have guitar solos. And Jailbreak will be one of them. Maria Davis is saying, love Blondie, but that song follows me everywhere. Yes, indeed. I imagine it must. When I was at college, I used to have one of the many kind of student jobs that you have at college is that, you kind of, especially in a place where I was at college, there's a lot of bed and breakfasts and, kind of hotels and stuff. And I had a job working basically as a kitchen porter there in this place called Mandy's Hotel that was owned by a woman, funnily enough, called Mandy. And, oh, God, she could drink. Oh, dear me. You'd turn up for a shift, washing pots for the breakfasts at 8 o'clock on a morning. And she'd already have the Lambrusco open. And yes, I rarely left a shift at that job sober. Anyway, but yeah, she used to say that Barry Manilow song used to follow her around like like a bad smell. But then again, it's a Barry Manilow song, isn't it? Now, GRB Aquatics, you've got a cracking idea there, mate. Also, can you do Dave Stewart's solo from When Tomorrow Comes? Awesome screaming solo. That probably is, I think, my favourite Eurythmics song. It's, for me, I think that song, correct me if I'm wrong here, but you know that Annie Lennox and Dave Stewart had like the tourists before the Eurythmics came along. And, they had that hit with that Petula Clark thing, didn't they? I Only Want to Be With You. That was their big hit. And then they dissolved and the pair of them reformed as the Eurythmics. I think When Tomorrow Comes sounds more like a Tourists era song that sort of survived the transition to the Eurythmics period. Let's have a look. See what we got. Live from Daryl's house is back on, says Farjohn. Yeah, I saw a great one of those the other day on YouTube. What was it? Nick Lowe doing Cruel to Be Kind. That was a great version. Maybe some Steve Hillage. That's a thought. That's a thought. Vincent Brennan saying, what are you having for Christmas dinner? Christmas dinner this year, we tend to sometimes go a little bit unorthodox. Sometimes we... Oh, it was Dusty, not Petula. I beg your pardon, too. I always get mixed up. Sorry about that. Yes, Christmas dinner this year. Sometimes we go a little bit unorthodox. We have been known to have curry for Christmas dinner. We have been known to have steak for Christmas dinner. But this year we're kind of going back, because we haven't done it in a few years, to something a bit more traditional. We're having a roast. I'm doing chicken because I don't like turkey. I'm sorry, I know you're not supposed to say this at this time of year, but I'm just not into turkey as a kind of meat. Or goose. Goose is minging, frankly. No, thank you. So we're having chicken, roast potatoes, stuffing, peas, carrots, pigs in blankets, and Yorkshire puddings and gravy. And I know the Yorkshire pudding thing is a bit controversial. It's very much a north-south thing in the UK. Down south, they only ever eat Yorkshire puddings with roast beef, but up here it tends to be just part of the platter for any kind of roast. And beer, Steve Cassidy says, yes, there is a weapons-grade stockpile of Theakston's best bitter in the backyard. So we'll be kind of getting properly entrenched in that, I should imagine. Johnny H is saying, Mike Peters from The Alarm was here last week, if anyone remembers The Alarm. I do. Welsh band with... three things I remember about the Alarm. One, they did a cracking version of Rockin' in the Free World. Two, they were from Wales. And three, they had like probably the biggest 80s hair of the 80s. Robster Boy, thank you so much, mate. You are a gentleman, sir. That is very, very generous of you. And I shall raise a glass to you on Christmas Day, mate. In fact, I'll raise a glass to you in a minute. Thank you so much. Ian Clark saying, we like Yorkshire puds with everything in Sussex. I remember, like, when I was really little, my granny used to sometimes come round to our house and do Sunday lunch for us, and she often used to do Yorkshire pudding as a dessert as well. Just do like the little individual ones on your plate with the roast in it, and then just do a big one at a lower heat, because it's just basically a pancake, really, isn't it? It's just the same ingredients as pancake batter. And she'd do like a big Yorkshire pudding with kind of jam and stuff on it as dessert. It was really, really nice. A lot of people from down the southern neck of the woods are saying that they have Yorkshire puddings with a roast as well. Well, it's glad to know that civilization spreads that far south, mate. Let's have a look. Leftover Yorkshire puddings with jam, lovely, indeed. Yes, up here, like it's a bit of a thing on a Sunday. In a lot of pubs where they'll put like little snacks on the bar, and one such Sunday bar snack is often little mini Yorkshire puddings with little dish of gravy that you dunk them into. Oh, marvellous. Oh, thank you, Steve. You, sir, are a gentleman, sir. Happy holiday to the Robsons from Stephen Yoshi. I seem to have gone out of focus, or is that the beer? It'll come back in a moment. Thank you so much, mate. Let's get back in focus, shall we? And we're back. I must say, though, that, doing a full Christmas dinner this year is going to be somewhat fun. I will be relying more than ever on Aunt Bessie this year. Yes, and Bisto, and I've already bought the stuffing balls and everything. It's all just kind of take it out the freezer, whop it in the air fryer, and it'll be right. It'll be right. Blue Sofa Songs is saying, sandwich shop in London, you can get a Sunday roast sandwich with Yorkshire pudding. Oh, yes, sign me up for that. Oh, yeah, I've got something else to tell you about, by the way. I've got something else to tell you about. My book, Practical Music Theory for the Rock Guitarist. You all know about that because it's increasingly appearing in the intros to a lot of videos. It's been more successful than I could ever have hoped for. And I am incredibly generous, grateful rather, for your generous support of that little project. That, well, it took a while to do, but it was something I did in my downtime. It was something I did when, instead of just sitting downstairs while wifey's got, Coronation Farm or East Enders Street on the television, and I would just kind of scroll through my phone and just waste time. I would just kind of knock out a chapter of the book. Or part of it anyway. So it was something that didn't really cost me anything in terms of the time I put into it, because it was just something I did in me kind of downtime, really. Well, there's another one. There's another one that's going to be coming out. Don't know when, but I'm going to be doing something, and the working title is The Blues Guitar Bible. It's going to be everything that you wanted to know about blues guitar, but possibly you already knew or you didn't know to ask about, and basically that sort of thing. So it's going to be more focused, because the Practical Music Theory for the Rock Guitarist is very much kind of a bit of a skim over, well, maybe not kind of a skim over, but an introduction to various different aspects of music theory. This is going to be an in-depth look at the theory and practicals of playing blues guitar. So I'm going to get to work on that in January. And, the last one took me 3 months to get written. This one, I imagine it'll be a bit more kind of in-depth, but because it just struck me, you think of a blues as being like 3 chords. Well, you've got your typical 12-bar blues, but then a slow blues is often structured different to an up-tempo shuffle. And then what about a minor blues? And what about that sort of 8-bar gospel blues? And what about the jazzier end of blues, like Robin Ford? And what about the the kind of 16-bar Freddie King kind of blues? Like the Stumble, things like that. So, it's there'll be a lot more going on in that. Chris Otterwell saying, I don't know why your book has VAT added in the book. In the UK, books are VAT free, at least I thought so. Yes, it's because apparently there's too much additional content in terms of audio visuals, because there's a lot of videos and jam tracks and other stuff that go along with the book. That 50 Shades of Blue. Now, there's a good title for it, Calby and the Rocco Cat. Yes, that might. I might just nick that one. Thank you. Nancy Davis is saying, I would love a hard copy of your book rather than a download. The only problem with that, Nancy, is that you can't click on links in a hard copy of a book. I could, kind of self-publish the book and, kind of somehow do that, and but then what you'd have to do is all of the links in the book, you'd have to type them in to into your browser, which might become a bit tiresome. Jimmy James saying, bought your PDF, Merry Christmas. Thank you, mate. Thank you. Every little helps, as they say. Anyway, chaps, let's see if I can, we're 50 minutes in, let's see if I can squeeze another beer down my tubes before we wrap up. Dinner this evening in the Robson household is, of course, curry, because it's Friday. And we're back to the usual Friday routine. We're having my homemade curry this week. We had a takeaway last week. It was nice for a change, but I am looking forward to my particular chicken madras. It's a good one, I must say. Took a batch out the freezer earlier on, and it's just got to warm it through and do the rice, and Anti-flake one. Yeah, it's not very flaky tonight, is it? It isn't. And this Madry is, as I say, usually quite lively. Johnny Random's joining me in a beer. Well, I'm surprised you haven't already, mate. Ravensmead is saying, does it come with a bottle of bourbon? Now, this is where I will say something controversial. I don't like bourbon. I really don't. It's like, if you like it, but fair enough. But I don't know anybody that drinks bourbon that just drinks it. It's like any whiskey that you've got to pour Coca-Cola into to make it palatable isn't really kind of for me, I'm afraid. I just like, well, a guy who I apparently look a lot like. Those aficionados of Coronation Street will remember a character called Fred Elliott, who always used to shout when he went into the Rovers return, "Scotch and threat," So a Scotch with a threat of water. That's how I take it. Just a glass of Scotch, just a hint of water, just to kind of loosen it up a little bit. Since the new book is called is Blues, you can call it "Forget Everything You Learned in the Last Book." Oh, I don't know about that, mate. I don't know about that. A lot of theory involved in blues. There's more going on than many people think in a typical 12-bar blues. It's quite complex once you peel the wrapper off. Peter Nicholson is saying, how's Dougal getting on, not getting out so much? Have you thought about hiring a treadmill? Don't have to, mate. What's tiring him out at the moment is we're doing a lot of training with him in the house and in the backyard. And I was speaking to Mr. Ian Clark earlier on today, who knows a thing or two about training dogs, and we're looking at just kind of calming down some of his more exuberant characteristics, and got a lot of nice tips off Ian today, and which we're going to be implementing. Well, we are already implementing. So just that kind of mental tiring where he's learning stuff. He's, like after the training session I did with him today, he just went and had a drink of water in his bowl and then jumped up on the wife's sofa and flaked out. That was him kind of wasted for the rest of the day. It's like, me brain hurts, so... David Evans, you can't join us on Christmas Day. You'll be at your mum's. Well, family comes first, mate. Family comes first. Let's have a look, see what else we've got to talk about. Steve Cassidy, I agree, John. I was playing. Craig, that'll put hairs on your chest. I drink bourbon straight with no mixer, and the same with whiskey. Oh, dear me, you're a better man than I am. It's... John Mack, thank you so much, mate. Merry Christmas, John. I won't be joining you on Christmas Day. I'll be busy helping cook the Christmas lunch at 1:00. So I'll say Happy Christmas now. Well, thank you so much, mate. And you're a very generous chap. Thank you so much. That's the other thing we do in this house is like our main meal of the day, whether it's, Christmas dinner or like just a normal kind of everyday kind of dinner. We eat it at sort of about 7 on an evening, so that'll be when we're having our Christmas lunch. Because it's just binge on Quality Street and Twiglets the rest of the day, don't you? Where are we? Peter Shields saying, "War Bob, me border terrier, currently recovering from an operation. Horrible tumour in his ear removed. He's a tough wee man, though." All border terriers, yeah, they don't. They take some keeping down, don't they? That's the definition of the small dog that thinks it's a a big dog, isn't it? The border terrier. It's like, come and have a go if you think you're hard enough, Pablo Hank saying, what time is the Christmas stream? Sorry, late tonight. That Christmas stream is 1 p.m. Christmas Day, UK time. That's what time I will be rocking up here, already kind of half full of Theakstons, and who knows what might happen if I've been drinking before the live stream. Peter Goddard, says, Merry Christmas, John. Thank you for the fantastic content this year. It's my pleasure, mate. I genuinely mean that. I started doing YouTube stuff just as a bit of a hobby, really, just as an outlet, just to kind of get some stuff out my system, really, playing guitar and sharing stuff. And, I'm currently at 29,700 subscribers, which means that I'm hardly, a giant in the YouTube guitar industry. But, I'm incredibly grateful for the loyal band of followers that I've got who turn up on a Friday every week to sit and watch and listen to me spout my nonsense. So, and the one thing I am conscious of is if, as and when the channel does grow, I would rather kind of it grow at a slower rate and keep this kind of sort of family feel that we've got here, really, than have it go stratospheric and, all of a sudden, and then, suddenly it becomes a little bit less kind of a friendly place. Amadeus is saying, is your Christmas gift from the Mrs. Guitar? I have no idea, mate. I have no idea what it is. She's always very good at picking the present that I really, really want, but didn't know that I wanted. It's just one of those things. She's like, case in point, a couple of years ago, she got us tickets to go and see the Classic Rock show. Fantastic. And I had no idea. So she's very good on that score, my missus. And so I genuinely have no idea what she's going to be getting me for Christmas this year. I kind of enjoy the surprise. Let's have a look, see what else we've got. Must have dropped a hint, says Michael Purcell. Well, no, I don't think I did, really. I just said, well, you know what I like. The thing I look forward to most about Christmas is the time off, more than anything else, because the other 51 weeks of the year, I'm in here talking to this camera or at that computer there, tabbing stuff out from 7:30, 8 o'clock on a morning till 8 o'clock on a night. And that's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Friday, I do this. Saturday, I'm doing the same thing. Sunday, the same thing. So I work 7 days a week. There's not a week goes by throughout the rest of the year that I don't put in a good 70 hours. And it's just nice to kind of, over Christmas, wake up on a morning and think, oh, I don't have to rush to do anything today. So there you go. Anyway, chaps, coming up to 59 minutes in, and what I'm going to do now is finish this beer. And there it was gone, right before my very eyes. And now I'm going to go and eat some curry. So, Merry Christmas, everyone. Thank you once again for turning up and watching a fat, bald northern lad with one arm in a sling and too many chins talk absolute nonsense for an hour. It's been a blast, and I'll keep on doing it till you're sick of me. But for now, time, gentlemen, please. I'll see you at 1 o'clock on Christmas Day. Have a great Christmas, everyone. Bye for now.